फास्टिंग वर्कशॉप के सेकंड सेशन के अंदर मैं नील आप सबका स्वागत करता हूं। कल के सेशन में हमने बहुत कुछ नई नई जानकारियां हासिल की थी और हमने ये देखा था कि हम ये जो फास्टिंग वर्कशॉप है उसको 3 स्टेजेस के अंदर लेके जाने वाले हैं, जिसमें पहला स्टेज रहेगा जिसमें हम शारीरिक बेनिफिट्स के ऊपर भी बात करेंगे, सेकेंड हम मेंटल बेनिफिट्स के ऊपर, और फिर थर्ड स्टेज में हम स्पिरिचुअल बेनिफिट्स के ऊपर बात करने वाले हैं। तो कल काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग सेशन रहा और काफ़ी लोगों ने बहुत सारे प्रश्न भी पूछे। मैं आज भी आप सबको कहना चाहूँगा कि आप प्रश्न पूछिएगा। आपको कोई भी प्रश्न है आप डायरेक्टली भी पूछ सकते हैं, आप आपका वर्चुअल हैंड रेज कर सकते हो। सो मैं आपको अलाउ करूँगा अनम्यूट करने के लिए एंड डायरेक्टली आप मिस्टर रमना कृष्णन जी से प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं। सो इसके लिए आप तैयार रहना। और मैं पहले ही क्लियर कर देता हूँ कि जैनिज्म में जो फास्टिंग का गोल है वो कर्म निर्जरा का है, सोल प्योरिफिकेशन का है, और हेल्थ जो है वो हमें बाई प्रोडक्ट में मिल जाती है। बाई प्रोडक्ट में हमें ये सब फायदे मिलते हैं, तो मेन एम कर्म निर्जरा का ही है। पर हमारे साथ एक्सपर्ट जुड़े हैं तो उनका काफ़ी फास्टिंग के अंदर एक्सपीरियंस रहा हुआ है और साथ ही साथ वो काफ़ी डिसीजेस भी फास्टिंग से क्योर करते हैं। तो हम एक नया पर्सपेक्टिव लेने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। सो मैं पहले ही से ही आप सबको कह देता हूँ कि किसी की धार्मिक भावनाएं हर्ट ना हो, इसका हम ध्यान रखेंगे। पर फिर भी ऐसा कुछ है तो हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं उसके ऊपर, तो आप प्रश्न बिल्कुल डालिएगा, ठीक है। तो इसी के साथ मैं इनवाइट करता हूं हमारे फास्टिंग एक्सपर्ट मिस्टर रमना कृष्णन जी को। हाँ, रमन सर वेलकम, आपको अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा। हाँ, सो जैसे कि हम देखते हैं कि हमारे सबकी फिजिकली मेंटली फिट रहने की एक नीड होती है कि हम रहना चाहते हैं, और बाद में स्पिरिचुअली फिट रहने की भी बात आती है। तो आज हम थोड़ा मेंटली कैसे फिट रहे उसके ऊपर बात करने वाले हैं। फास्टिंग हमें कैसे हेल्प करती है मेंटली फिट रहने के अंदर, क्या क्या हमारे बॉडी के अंदर प्रोसेसेस होते हैं वगैरह की बात करने वाले हैं। तो हम आज का सेशन शुरू करते हैं और सेशन के एंड में 15-20 मिनट्स हमारा Q&A रहेगा, जहां आप प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं डायरेक्टली रमन सर से। जी रमन सर, ओवर टू यू।
जब हम मेंटल की बात करते हैं तो कल बहुत लोगों ने पूछा था कि प्रोडक्टिविटी के बारे में पूछा था। नाउ जब हम मेंटल एस्पेक्ट्स के बारे में बात करते हैं तो वी हैव टू नो दैट स्पिरिचुअल सेपरेट है, मेंटल सेपरेट है, क्योंकि ये हेल्थ के बारे में है। आई विल फोकस ऑन मेंटल। जब हम बोलते हैं तो कॉग्निटिव स्किल्स जो बोलते हैं, कॉग्निशन, एनालिसिस, क्रिएटिविटी, ये कॉग्निटिव एस्पेक्ट्स कैसे बढ़ सकते हैं जो प्रैक्टिकल डे टू डे लाइफ में हम इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। एंड इन द एंड मैं थोड़ा ऐड करता हूं द लाइन बिटवीन कॉग्निशन, दैट इज इंटेलिजेंस, एंड स्पिरिचुअलिटी, उसके बीच में जो है आई कैन टेल यू मोर। बट आपके शास्त्र अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो वो बेहतर होगा, वो स्पिरिचुअल, कंप्लीट स्पिरिचुअल एस्पेक्ट के बारे में। बट आई कैन लिंक दैट साइंस एस्पेक्ट बिटवीन कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटीज जो माइंड बोलते हैं to some aspect of creativity, higher intelligence. Magar it is still below spirituality. And maybe Neil, you should add in that aspect to it. The basic level जो होता है mind का, वो हम बोलते हैं there are two aspects. वो basic cognition जो होता है कैसे improve हो सकता है? There are two aspects to this. एक होता है nootropic, NOOTROPIC, उसको बोलते हैं nootropic एजेंट। दूसरा है न्यूट्रोपिक एजेंट। सो साइंस में ये दोनों डिफरेंट होते हैं एंड दोनों का इफेक्ट भी सेपरेट होता है। nootropic, NOOTROPIC, उसका मतलब क्या है? उसका मतलब यह है कि कुछ चीजें हैं वो अगर आप कंज्यूम करते हैं तो आपका थिंकिंग एबिलिटी टेम्पररीली ज्यादा हो जाता है, मगर हमेशा वो टेम्पररी ही होता है। उसका इफेक्ट भी इन अ मैटर ऑफ फ्यू आवर्स टू मैक्सिमम 1 डे। यूजुअली 1 डे से ज्यादा नहीं जाता है कौन से भी न्यूट्रोपिक एजेंट को, क्योंकि बॉडी का साइकिल ऐसा होता है कि मोस्ट थिंग्स 16 to 17 आवर्स से ज्यादा कोई भी साइकिल नहीं चलती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल कॉफी, अगर हम ब्लैक कॉफी की बात करते हैं तो ब्लैक कॉफी पीने से मेंटल एबिलिटी डेफिनेटली बट टेम्पररीली थोड़ा ऊपर होता है, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट। इसीलिए कॉफी को हम क्या बोलते हैं, उसको बोलते हैं नूट्रोपिक एजेंट। अगर कुछ लोग एग्जाम के लिए पढ़ रहे हैं तो वो क्या करते हैं, ब्लैक कॉफी, इंस्टिंक्टिवली ब्लैक कॉफी को लेते हैं, क्योंकि ब्लैक कॉफी आई कैन राइट एंड गिव, इट कैन एनहांस योर थिंकिंग टेम्पररीली, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द कॉफी। उसका इफेक्ट हो सकता है फ्रॉम 30 मिनट्स टू प्रोबेबली 4 to 6 आवर्स, उसका इफेक्ट हो सकता है अगर आप ब्लैक कॉफी पी रहे हैं। अगर कॉफी इन अ कैप्सूल अगर आप ले रहे हैं, यू कैन गो अप टू मे बी 8 to 10 आवर्स। इसका एंटायर एरिया होता है नूट्रोपिक, विच इज टेम्पररी, परमानेंट चेंजेस नहीं होता है, बट टेम्पररी एक इफेक्ट देता है। तो काम करने वाले बहुत लोग ब्लैक कॉफी लेते हैं, मगर जब हम मिल्क उसमें मिक्स करते हैं तो वो इफेक्ट नहीं होता है। मगर जो भी प्योर ब्लैक कॉफी पीते हैं, दे नो द बेनिफिट ऑफ ब्लैक कॉफी। नाउ व्हाट इज न्यूट्रोपिक? न्यूट्रोपिक का मतलब है इट इज मोर ऑफ अ परमानेंट चेंज, क्योंकि हमारा न्यूरॉन्स का न्यूरोजेनेसिस होता है। उसका मतलब है हमारे पास न्यूरॉन्स होते हैं, तब देयर आर ओनली टू थिंग्स इन न्यूट्रोपिक। एक है एक न्यूरॉन से एक न्यूरॉन का कनेक्शन बहुत बढ़ती है, दैट मींस द कनेक्शन इज स्ट्रॉन्गर। सेकेंड एस्पेक्ट टू द सेम थिंग इज एक न्यूरॉन कनेक्ट्स विथ मल्टीपल न्यूरॉन्स, the overall connectivity of neurons get better. That is the first aspect of nootropic. The second aspect of nootropic होता है number of neurons जो होते हैं in our brain, that increases. There is only one proven method for nootropic. Let me be very clear. There is only one proven method by which you can increase it's a nootropic concept, which is fasting. Now, this is what is the difference that you should know between nootropic and nootropic. एक कोई है आज से फास्टिंग कर रहा है, आई एम सेइंग ही विल बिकम मोर इंटेलिजेंट विद टाइम, मगर बहुत लोग कहते हैं नहीं, आई डोंट फील एनी डिफरेंस, आई जस्ट टेक अ ब्लैक कॉफी, आई फील गुड। I can name supplements which can produce nootropic effect, temporary effect, where आपका दिमाग बहुत अच्छा चलता है, and all of these are legal. कुछ इसमें कोई, there is nothing that is illegal about it, or there is nothing about it which is bad for health either in that. कॉफी टी में उतना इफेक्ट नहीं है, मगर यू हैव वन टी कॉल यर्बा माटे टी, उसमें इफेक्ट है। यू कैन टेक एसिटाइल एल कार्निटीन, उसमें इफेक्ट ज्यादा है। ब्राह्मी जो हर्ब है उसको नूट्रोपिक बोलते हैं। ब्राह्मी हर्ब ऑल्सो इंक्रीजेस योर कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी। अश्वगंधा भी कुछ लोगों में, अश्वगंधा कैन प्रोड्यूस बेटर मेंटल एबिलिटीज, तो उसके प्यूरिटी के हिसाब से इट गिव्स यू द इफेक्ट। ये जो भी इफेक्ट है आपको कंटिन्यूसली लेना पड़ता है, जब भी आप लेंगे वो इफेक्ट आपको आएगा बिटवीन 4 hours to 6 hours। अगर आप नहीं लेते हैं तो उस दिन आपका इफेक्ट नहीं रहेगा। ये 4-5, इट इज नॉट दैट इट इज बैड, दे आर नॉट बैड। इफ यू वांट टू यूज इट यू कैन यूज इट, बट फास्टिंग इज अ सेपरेट एरिया, it is very ahead, and I need to explain to you why people who fast will be more intelligent, because fundamentally ये fasting का जो effect होता है, it has a nootropic effect. So fundamentally fasting increases neurogenesis. It is a proven concept. Neurogenesis बोले तो more neurons are produced in the brain, which was never believed at all. They don't believe you can produce more neurons. इसीलिए in the field of Alzheimer's, and definitely they say that people who fast at least 14 to 15 hours every day for a period of at least 3-4 years, the chances of Alzheimer's are very close to zero. If you are fasting every day at least 12 to 14 hours, the chances of Alzheimer's after 2-3 years are almost zero. You don't encounter Alzheimer's in people who have fasted consistently for a long period of time, because it defeats that entire purpose, because it is neurogenetic in nature. Second thing is, when you talk about dementia में ये होता है कि the connections between neurons are not happening properly. Even in those areas, if you look at fasting, the connections that you develop between neurons are very, very ahead. So that is a proven element. So that is why if you look at the benefits of intermittent fasting, अगर आप intermittent fasting की benefits अगर आप generally भी आप पढ़ेंगे, So they will say, remove amyloid plaque in the brain, which causes Alzheimer's, or in simple form, help prevent Alzheimer's. This will be one of the standard lines. The cognitive enhancement happens because of the production of BDNF. एक particular process, one is nootropic, fasting is nootropic. There are two concepts by which it works. In addition to these concepts, why is it a person can become more intelligent? Now, these two things that I have told you can ensure that a person doesn't decline in intelligence. ये दोनों जो प्रोसेस मैंने आपको बोला है, इससे आपका डिक्लाइन प्रिवेंट हो सकता है. डेफिनेटली जो आपका बेसिक थिंकिंग है, जो स्पीड एनालिटिकल थिंकिंग है, जो रीडिंग स्पीड है, what you had at 18 you can easily maintain even at 90 years of age. Even memory जो है you can easily maintain even into old age if you fast at least 12 to 14 hours a day minimum. Even 12 hours is good enough. You'll be able to retain. But how can you become more intelligent? See, lot of students are there. Your own children are there at home. They are studying for competitive exams. They are drinking black coffee. Their friends today, it is scientifically proven. Take a black coffee, you can think better temporarily. As soon as the mind goes down, drink one more black coffee. It has not killed anyone. Coffee has not killed anyone. They are having. But I am talking about something superior to that. The kind of thinking that you can develop, which normally you cannot get access to. That is called BDNF. Fasting induces brain-derived nootropic factors. अगर आप Google में search करेंगे तो BDNF, B for Bangalore, I mean brain, B for brain, D for derived, N for nootropic, F for factors. If you put this in Google, you can find out how do you secrete BDNF. The best way to secrete BDNF is fasting. What other way is there? Is all 50-50. थोड़ा बहुत exercise कर सकते हैं. Maybe it can give, maybe, but it is not guaranteed. Try कर सकते हैं. जिंदगी में नया challenges ले सकते हैं. वो भी you can maybe, may not be. You can have an open attitude to life. Chances are it may not. But if you fast, it's 100% chance that you get BDNF. क्योंकि 16 hours fasting जो करते हैं, approximately post 14 hours, BDNF का secrete होता है. ये BDNF क्या करता है? It enhances your ability to think, analyze, observe. All your senses get enhanced after about 13-14 hours because of the secretion of BDNF. Somebody asked me yesterday one question. Does my productivity come down? My answer is this. Scientifically, your productivity cannot be matched if you're already crossed 14 hours of fasting because you're already secreting BDNF. Okay. What is this BDNF which has made so much of change? You can read the rest on Google, and it is scientifically proven to secrete BDNF because there is no other way. Everything else is trial and error. Fasting is 100% sure on this. Let me give an example. An animal gets up in the morning. It goes and chases a prey. It misses. क्योंकि कोई भी animal doesn't succeed in the first attempt. It fails. It has to go for the second attempt. When it goes for the when does the animal hunt first? Little bit of hunger pangs are there. Stomach is little empty. That is when it goes hunting. It doesn't hunt otherwise. Just because a lion sees a deer, it doesn't hunt. It waits. Little bit of hunger comes. That time the lion tries to hunt a deer. It doesn't succeed. First attempt में lion succeed नहीं करता है. कोई भी animal succeed नहीं करता है hunt में. The first time is a failure. अगर first attempt failure है, तो what do you think the animal goes through? Does it become disappointed, depressed, sad? Life is not happening for me. ऐसे नहीं होता है. Immediately the body produces BDNF. ये जो BDNF है, it raises your cognitive abilities. All your senses are better. Your ability to analyze distance, your ability to anticipate, your ability to kind of understand what is going around you enhances. Because without that enhancement, you can't win. You cannot kill the next prey. So that lion, the moment it fails in the first attempt, it has not eaten anything. Then it waits. Then it goes for the second attempt. By then the BDNF starts rising. Then it goes with that attempt and tries to attempt. If it succeeds, it is fine. If it doesn't succeed, it has still not eaten. The hunger has increased. When the hunger has increased, it now needs more enhancement for it to go and actually catch the prey. And the third time, if it doesn't succeed, probably it is going to die. Now you're understanding the difference. Within 4 attempts, if that lion is not going to kill a prey, it is not going to survive. It is probably going to die. And the first attempt, second attempt can be trial. Third attempt and fourth attempt, it has to succeed. It is no question of failure. So that is why this BDNF has been designed in almost all animals, including human beings. The more hungry you are, the better your ability to analyze and more keen is your senses. अगर आपने एक दिन तक कुछ नहीं खाया है, तो you can smell, you can say what is happening in your neighbor's house. You can almost smell what is going on in your neighbor's house. आप क्या सोचते हैं? You're hungry. भूख बहुत ज्यादा है, इसलिए आप you're feeling it. It is not exactly that. The actual reason is आपने कुछ नहीं खाया है, शुगर लेवल थोड़ा कम हो रहा है, तो आपका बॉडी ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेशन शुरू कर दिया है कि yes, let us secrete BDNF. वो 16th hour पे जनरेट होता है. For most people between 14 hours to 16 hours में वो BDNF secrete होता है. When it secretes, all the senses are enhanced. आप जो सुन रहे हैं, it will be higher. जो आपका स्वाद है, it will be much better. Even your smell will be very, very keen. You can actually tell what is getting cooked in your neighbor's house if you've not eaten for 2 days. Not because you like food. This is the mistake that people are making. They are saying, no, I like food a lot. It is not about your liking food. Your senses are enhanced because of BDNF. This kind of a sense enhancement, you can only get it if you have crossed 14 hours. See, my client, one of my client is in UK. Now she is into a creative side where she has to draw designs and she earns a lot of money. She's very, very reputed. Now, typically, वो खाते हैं about 5:45 ऐसे 6 o'clock खाते हैं वो. Every day she eats at 6. My suggestion to her was, if you want to do well in your career, the most important work that you have, divide it into 2 portions. One portion, you have to do it in the morning. When you get up, the first 2 to 3 hours. That is the very beautiful window where your initiative will be high. जो initiative बोलते हैं ना, for example, I want to do things. I'm ready to do new things, new ideas. वो सारा का सारा जो होता है, it starts coming by the 12th hour, typically by about 9-10 hours. अगर किसी ने 6 o'clock खाया है शाम को, तो typically in the morning around 6:37 जो होता है, that is where is the best window for new initiatives, like new ideas, newer options, out of the box, newer type of options. क्या करना है और क्या options हैं? That is the ideal time between 6 and maybe 9:30. 9:30 के बाद, you should not look at new options. You should only start focusing on your work because brain-derived nootropic factors, ये जो है, it starts coming in by 10 o'clock in the morning. जब brain-derived nootropic factors आपको secrete होते हैं, तो whatever you have selected options in your life, you will start going very deep into those things. For example, a person in the morning gets up, like this lady eats at 6 in the evening. In the morning, she starts doing multiple works, lot of work she starts doing. By 10 o'clock, she should be clear. For the rest of the day, these are the 2-3 important works that I want to do. Once you have the clarity, the most important work, which requires a lot of thinking, which requires out-of-box thinking, which needs to be solved, which can't be normally solved, that should only be done 2 hours before you end your fast.
So रवन, इसीलिए हमारे यहाँ जो ब्रह्म मुहूर्त का कॉन्सेप्ट है, तो शायद ये ब्रह्म मुहूर्त का कॉन्सेप्ट यही है कि आपकी नींद हो गई, आपका ऑलमोस्ट फास्टिंग पीरियड जैसे हो गया, एंड देन वो पीरियड को आपको यूटिलाइज करना चाहिए.
That's actually the correct concept. It is not even 6, it's at 4:30. क्योंकि हमारे बदन में 4:30 से cortisol response starts increasing. That is standard. You cannot change it. It's a cycle. So cortisol from 4:30 in the morning बढ़ता होता है. It keeps increasing. When cortisol increases, what happens? You have more energy and you are a little bit restless. That restlessness is also energy. See, we say we don't want to be restless. No, but if you're working in a job, that restlessness is the energy that you require. So all newer options, multiple jobs together at the same time, That is the best time to do it, Neil. That's the
Yes,
best
yes.
time to try and do those things.
Yeah.
But the second window of time, Neil, is 2 hours before you have eaten. I mean, you're going to eat again. For example, it's 4:15 now. Let's say I'm going to eat at 7. The best time for me to do the toughest of the toughest job, like I have to make a decision, which is the most important decision. You should do it the maximum of the fast, not the minimum of the fast. It's a very wrong idea. अगर आपका फास्ट 21-22 आवर्स के आसपास है, that is the best. अगर it's a matter of life and death, it's a matter where, I'll give you an idea. मैंने एक कंपनी शुरू किया है, The Fasting Studio. I wanted a name. I wanted the entire business model. This entire business model, I formulated it in my 3-day fast. I never could come up with the idea. This entire concept, I did it from my 36th hour to the 42nd hour. In that 6 hours, I ended up doing it. Because any intelligent guy see, there is a customer of mine who owns an insurance company in Botswana. Okay. He's stuck. He has to go to investors. He has to make a presentation. See, this is how they are. They'll go on a 3-day fast. Neil, I'm being very honest. They may not have heard Jain philosophy. He's a businessman. His entire intention is to make more money. He's my client. They haven't read Jain, but they know something about fasting and they know how fasting works. All that they'll do is they'll go for a 3-day fast. By the 36th hour, the brain starts working. The way it works, you can complete all your work in a matter of 3-4 hours, what you cannot do even in 1 year's time. This is how that person made the presentation to pitch to investors and got the money.
So Raman, here I would like to add that like in Jainism, we have a festival called Paryushan. So that is a total of 8 days. और उसके अंदर जो 3 दिन ऐसे कहा जाता है कि आपको एक अट्ठम करना जरूरी है. अट्ठम यानी 3 days fasting. 3 days fasting at a stretch. और उसके बाद ये जो मिच्छामि दुक्कडम यानी फॉरगिवनेस का कॉन्सेप्ट होता है वो अप्लाई करते हैं हम. यानी सभी जीवों को फॉरगिवनेस देना और मांगना. अगर हमने किसी को हर्ट किया है, किसी ने हमको हर्ट किया है, तो उसमें 3 दिन की फास्टिंग का कंपल्शन बताया है. तो इससे कुछ रिलेट हो सकता है.
Yes, Neil, because if you want to generate stem cells, which is intestinal stem cells, the minimum required, safely speaking, is 72 hours. There's not much we can do about it. This is how the body responds.
Yes.
That's the minimum required. I'm sorry, but if you want intestinal stem cells, that is 3 days. If you want mesenchymal stem cells, 5 days is the minimum you need to fast. If you want those stem cells, not much can be said. That's science.
Right. You can continue, Raman.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was just trying to relate this concept.
I know some people do find the session boring, so good that you actually intervene. So that is fine. I get a little lost.
No, it's not boring. It's very helpful and insightful. It's personal opinion anyways.
No, that's fine. I do take it, Dr. Didis, because we get caught up a little bit in some things which may not be interesting to some other people. So why am I explaining at this length? Because if I tell you in one line, please fast, you become intelligent, people are not accepting it. People are saying, I will have this, I'll have a Red Bull. What are the options? Red Bull है. आज आपके घर में लोग हैं, छोटे बच्चे हैं, क्या करते हैं? They want to think a little. They take a Red Bull and they drink. क्या होता है Red Bull में? What is it in Red Bull that is able to give you a little bit of relaxed thinking? You're able to go ahead. Let me tell you 2 things that will be there in Red Bull. Standard, caffeine. That is what gives you that thing. The second thing that they don't disclose is carnitine, which also enhances slightly this. What they advertise is something, what is the reality is something else. Why am I talking about these 2 factors of nootropic and nootropic? What should you aim for in life is my question to you all. When you start your journey, you can have a black coffee. How much black coffee? Even 3 to 4 cups of black coffee doesn't damage your health. I can be very honest. Whether your religion permits you or not, whether your belief permits you or not, that you can check at your background. But generally, coffee doesn't harm a person. But what you should realize is, if you are happy with coffee, if you're very happy with coffee, it's time to aim higher. If you're very happy with coffee, it's time to aim higher. Because with coffee, if you're able to solve problems so well, everybody in the world is actually solving problems with black coffee. If you can fast minimum 14 hours a day, the kind of ability to think out of box, even your senses, keenness, it cannot be matched. Let me give you a simple idea. My reading speed at this moment in my life, I'm about 45 years of age, is about 900 words a minute. It's not expected. See, my eyesight is fairly sharp, 10 on, I mean, it's not 7 on 7. Last I tested. I don't have, I mean, I'm not special. See, you should know this. Am I a very special person? I'm not. I was 101 kg once upon a time. Fundamentally, the fasting will ensure that most of your senses are fairly sharp. Your ability to think analytically goes up. There is no doubt at all about this. And that is why I mentioned a little bit about BDNF. And Neil, could you guide a little more on this so that I could go?
Yeah, Raman. Or on what?
Could you add in something more from the Jain side so that I could...
so basically Jain side से I was just linking Jain मुनि का lifestyle. They fast a lot.
Right.
और उससे ही उनका जो learning होता है, उनका learning भी बहुत जबरदस्त. Means every day उनको श्लोकास learn करने होते हैं. तो ऐसे भी महात्मा है जो 100 श्लोकास यानी 400 lines learn कर लेते हैं.
Yes.
दिन में. और उनका फास्टिंग चालू ही रहता है फास्टिंग के टाइम. सो बेसिकली आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट एक्चुअली फास्टिंग ये सब चीजों के लिए भी मीन्स मेरा ऐसे मानना था कि अगर मैंने नहीं खाया तो मेरी मेमोरी वीक हो जाती है. यानी ऐसे लग रहा है कि मैं पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ तो मैं पहले ऐसे चाहूंगा कि पेट भर लूं फिर ही मैं पढ़ाई करने बैठूं. ऐसा जनरली ये होता है. बट हम जैन मुनि की लाइफस्टाइल में देखते हैं तो फास्टिंग से उनको ऐसे भी हेल्प हो रहा है ऐसे लग रहा है.
No, it is the truth, Sunil. And science has corroborated it. There is no doubt on this. That is why, if you look at it, after lunch, I am inviting all of you to make this experiment in your life. We all eat lunch. What is the productive work that you have done 1 to 2 hours after lunch yesterday? Please ask yourself that question. And what is the work you have done 1 to 2 hours before that lunch? Please compare both and then you will have an idea what I'm saying. That is only yesterday. Now, how has it been the last 1 week? Many people don't have memory of 1 week, 1 year, 2 years that I'm talking. I'm only asking a simple question. The last 1 week, please think, what does a person do after eating? So my suggestion is this. Don't even do this test on yourself. Do it on your family member. Don't judge them very harshly. Let us also love them equally. But any family member who has just eaten, whatever time a family member is eating, just observe what that family member is doing for the next 2 hours and let me know. Most people don't read after they eat food. Please check it out. If you observe watching TV, I have a small challenge for you all. Nobody watches TV on an empty stomach. This is what I want to tell you all. If you have not eaten, you don't watch TV. It's very difficult to watch TV. It's my open challenge to all of you. Can you please try it? Because I have observed myself for more than 2 to 3 years. See, today, I asked you all not to eat till 11. You can say that, yes, we don't watch TV in the morning. But I am asking you a simple question. You have fasted one day. Someday you have fasted recently. Did you watch TV on that day? Your TV watching will happen only after you've eaten food. All reading mostly happens on empty stomach. If you've eaten something, you prefer to watch idle. That is, you like to sit and something should keep on moving. And you shouldn't move much, neither your body nor your mind. You don't like to think so much. It should just keep moving in front of your eyes. That is why watching TV after you eat is very, very pleasurable. That is what people say Netflix. They have dinner, then they watch Netflix. Some people can say they have time, but it's not true. Take a Sunday where people are at home. The only time you can watch a movie is after you eat. On an empty stomach, I have my doubts. Please.
Raman, actually, I'm trying to connect with Jain Muni's lifestyle also. ऐसा कहते हैं कि मुनियों को खुद की 5 सेंसेस को कंट्रोल में रखना है, यानी हमको भी रखना चाहिए, पर वो लोग एक्सेसिवली ये प्रैक्टिस करते हैं। तो हमेशा हमको कहा जाता है कि जिसने जीभ के ऊपर कंट्रोल ला लिया, उसकी दूसरी सेंसेस ऑटोमेटिक कंट्रोल में आ जाएगी। जैसे आंख को आपने बोला कि टीवी देखने के लिए बार बार प्रेरित हो रही है, तो अगर आप फास्टिंग कर रहे हो, यानी कि आपकी सेंस ऑफ टेस्ट को कंट्रोल में ला रहे हो एक रीत से, तो आपकी आईज भी कंट्रोल में आ रही है कहीं ना कहीं। ऐसा एक रिलेट कर सकते हैं।
Yes. So that is because of the BDNF action, Neil. I can challenge you. The reading skills are there, which I said words per minute. If somebody has an app, you can test it. Or even if you talk about checking your eyesight, you can check your eyesight before eating food and after eating food. You can see the difference. Because if you have not eaten for 14 hours, your eyesight has to be better. Otherwise, you cannot hunt. It's a commonsensical thing. If your eyesight is normal after 15, 16 hours and you have not eaten, that means you're not successful in your hunt. What should your body do? It has to enhance. That is why you have an entire topic called BDNF. See, if someone is going abroad, going and studying in some top university college, what do? They have a drug called Adderall. You buy those pills. They are all available. It's all a drug. Do they damage? Of course, they must be damaging, because they are not like black coffee. They are a step above. What does Adderall do? It forces your body to generate BDNF. And hence other issues are there. When you force your body, when your body gives it, it's different. When you force, that is different. So if you look at Adderall, how is it that people are getting more intelligent on Adderall? Only by secreting BDNF, which we are getting it for free if you don't eat over 16, 17 hours. So, Neil, there is no doubt that productivity is enhanced.
Yes, Ramanji.
Because if you yourself, Neil, from your experience, once you've eaten full, how intelligent do you feel after that when you host a seminar?
थोड़ा laziness तो आ ही जाता है.
And why does that happen?
So basically, खाया है तो थोड़ा means laziness, maybe chemical processes अंदर.
No, it's because 65% of the blood goes to your stomach for digesting food. So you're not effective. See, when everybody says we are active after we eat, I can't believe. The moment you eat, 65% of your blood supply has to go to your stomach. If it doesn't go, you can't digest food. Is this commonsensical? I hope this is commonsensical.
Yes.
Okay. You know that blood has to go to the stomach, only then digestion happens. What percentage is the number I am giving you? 65%. That is the amount of blood that goes to your stomach. So that is why when you eat, you don't feel like walking. You feel like sitting, because all the blood is going to the stomach. Only then digestion happens. If somebody says, I'll start thinking, somebody says, I'll start walking, you can walk, you can think, but you will have indigestion because you're not digesting, you're not doing what is required to digest the food.
Yes. Ji, Raman.
So I think this is something that we can stop at, Neil, and we can take some questions and
yeah, we can do that. Actually, today we can give more time for question and answer. Yeah. So if anybody has any question, they can raise their hand. You can raise your virtual hand. I'll allow you to ask directly. There are a couple of questions in the chat window also, but I would request to ask in person if possible. Otherwise, I'll take those questions.
One hand, yeah. Lakshmi has raised her hand.
Yeah, Lakshmi ji, you can ask question.
Okay. Thank you, Ji. Thank you for this wonderful session. I just want to ask you one thing. For the 16 hours fasting, is it mandatory to fast for a few hours after we get up? Or, for example, if my last meal was at 2 p.m. the previous day, then can I break my fast at 8 a.m. the next day? Those 16 hours are also counted.
What time would you get up in the morning?
I prefer sometimes 5:30, because for me here my sun rises only at 7 o'clock, 7:15.
Yes.
So yes. In fact, I had posted a first question before the session also. That,
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, because today I just went out in the sun. It is a Saturday, so it's okay for me. And 7:15, yes, it was as good as drinking coffee in the morning, taking the sunshine in the morning. was
Yes.
as good as. In fact, my husband would always go and stand in the sun, and I would fight with him. Why are you wasting time? But
No, he's
actually, it is
not.
good. That's
He's
good.
not.
Actually, just I stood for 3 minutes and I felt the
Yes.
difference. Then the second one
Yes.
was also in our thing. Without brushing my teeth, I cannot drink any water. I mean, it's not there in me.
Yes. Yes.
So can I have the salt water after? But I would have finished the washroom activity. That's what I'm
Yeah, that
trying
is
to
fine,
say.
madam. Very flexible. I saw your question. It's little flexible. Do it in about half an hour of waking up, which is more or less, if you can, that is.
Yeah. Then with this question of 16 hours fasting, is it
Yes.
necessary to fast? That one I would like to know.
It's not necessary. It can be optimal.
Okay.
So there is something called good and there is something called optimal.
Uh-huh.
The optimal is when you get up and you see the sun, give it 2-3 hours because your blood sugar levels naturally go up. When your blood sugar levels naturally go up, why do you want to eat and increase the blood sugar levels further? Your body wants you to use those blood sugar levels more.
Okay. Okay.
I can understand when you've eaten at 2 in the afternoon, it's difficult. When you get up at 6, you're getting up maybe hungry, you feel somewhat. I understand. But the optimal thing is if you can wait even half an hour, 40, whatever you can wait from your side, you try waiting. Because in the sun, the moment you see the sun, typically 4:30 your cortisol rise happens. It goes on. But when you see the sun, automatically your cortisol goes up even more. That will be the highest spike that you will have is when you see the sun for 3 minutes. Madam, it is not a folklore that I am saying. I am quoting exact science because you know the difference when you stood for 3 minutes. We don't believe, you don't need to believe it. You just need to do it. And you can see a rise of energy in your body because the spike happens. It's immediate.
Okay.
When that spike happens, the blood sugar goes up even further. When the blood sugar goes up even further, my sincere request is, if you can wait, please wait. If you can wait, please wait. It's not that it's bad, but if you can wait, it is better.
So wait for another 2 to 3 hours?
But it depends on you, madam. If you're not able to wait, then it's better to wait half an hour.
Okay.
But if you can wait 1-2 hours, it's better. If you can move the time from 2 to 3, it is even better. If you move it afternoon from 2 to 3 and in the morning postpone the early first meal a little more, that is far superior.
Okay.
But again, it depends on your convenience. You must also look into your situation at home, right?
So can I say that our ancient people, they did, all the Surya Namaskaram and all only for this reason, to get all the energy from the sun?
Madam, Surya Namaskar, see what happens is people have used different excuses to give you exposure to the sun. Whatever be the excuse. Because when they tell you, like we say in science, orange is good for health, but no child is having orange. It doesn't happen. So when we say as a tip, nothing gets followed in life. I think we have all given enough tips in our life. I'm sure you have given enough tips and I'm also giving. Nothing gets followed. But if you tell it like a story, build a belief, people do it. For example, you put a tulsi plant outside. Tell people, you go pour water, there is good fortune. Immediately people start doing. If I tell you, every day morning, look at the sun and ask for one wish and that wish will come true, people will do it. But if I say cortisol goes up when you see the sun, no one does it. I think you're getting it. We all have our own stories to get you to do the same thing.
Okay.
And it is the greatest of boons that we have, that in India, we have the sun. Otherwise, countries like, there are people who have complained saying they don't see the sun. A country like UK, in UK, there is no sun. Even if you go out, you don't see. People are depressed. They have more money. They are doing well in their career, but people are more depressed because you need the sun.
Okay.
That's how important it is.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next one, Chinmay Shah, you can ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir. So you explained it beautifully, like why human beings focus on the how on the how things work rather than the why. So once you start focusing on why, then people start to build belief and they start to deliver. So yesterday I missed the session. So can I ask you like a couple of questions from yesterday and a couple of questions from today?
Please.
So one of the questions, the one of the points you mentioned about the UK, that we don't get the sunlight, and even in India, for example, the sunlight can be quite extensive. So how do we manage with the sunlight in the Western countries and in India?
See, in the Western, not much can be done in UK. What they do in UK, I have a client in UK. So I told her to spend money, buy light lamp. There are light lamps that they have to pay money and buy. Now, what happens is, to keep it short, your mobile phone, take your mobile phone outside your house. You can't see what is there. Why is it you're not able to see? Whereas in a dark room, when you take your mobile phone, you're able to see. Your street lights, you can see them very clearly at night. They brighten the entire place. If the same street light is on in the morning, you don't see anything. You can't even make out street light is on. Because the sunlight, the basic sunlight, even when it is cloudy, is somewhere close to 80,000 lux. That's the measure of it, lux, Lux. The basic measure of sunlight which is outside is 80,000 lux to about 1 lakh lux on any day. Usually it will be about 1 lakh lux. Your cell phone will not be more than 1,000 lux at the most. At the most, maybe 400, 500 or 1,000 lux. You can make out the difference now. Why the torchlight will not do, why the lamp will not do, why the tube light will not do. That bright light comes into your eyes, only the cortisol goes up. If the cortisol does not go up, you have problems. You have a lot of problems if the cortisol does not go up in the morning. Okay, let me tell you this. So in UK, you have to buy lamp. If you're somewhere in a country where you have to buy expensive lamp, which can give you lux. How much lux will they give? Maybe 20, 25,000 lux. But something is better than nothing. You have to buy it, pay money and buy. What is the alternative? There is no alternative. I'm very sorry, but there is no alternative. Your best case scenario is buy the lamp, try to expose your eyes to it. This is what the world is trying to do.
Right. And yesterday you mentioned about the fasting part, right? I mean, having only one meal a day and having 16 hours of intermittent fasting, as you mentioned. But the problem I particularly face is that when I don't eat 2 or 3 meals a day, then I get severe constipation. And I think that could be a problem for a lot of Indians because I mean,
can you repeat it again? I missed that.
I get a lot of constipation if I don't
eat
2 or 3 times a day.
Yes.
My stomach also has to be really full so that
Yes.
I can actually pass motion. Otherwise, I need to eat a lot of ghee.
Yes, I saw your question. I think you had also forwarded your question through me.
Right.
It's a very relevant question, which I would really want to take it on. See, the constipation which comes through fasting is very, I can't say it happens to all the people, it happens to many people. There is a method of doing it. See, my sincere request is, if it doesn't break your religious belief or the vrat, whatever you have taken, the oath that you have taken, please start your day with salt water. That salt water flushes your system. It induces peristaltic movement. You might not have employed it. The reason I always say start with salt water is for 2 things. Yesterday I said, one is it flushes, it helps your stomach to flush. The peristaltic movement starts off. Many people go on their own. That's fine. Just take some salt water. That helps. The second thing for constipation that I highly recommend is, initially when you do fasting, you eat less. That is the reality. We eat less than normal. That means earlier you were eating a lot. Now you are eating 30% of what you were eating. That means the total bulk is very less. Your stomach doesn't sense it. Your stomach is used to so much of bulk, which has come from yesterday, day before yesterday. It is collecting and it is going. As you keep pushing, that pushes it out. That's not a very ideal scenario, but that is what we are all experiencing. One is the salt water forces it out, keeps the stomach clean. And then when you eat, it again forces it out next day. The second thing is, for the bulk, only initially for the first 10-15 days, I have a sincere request. Please add certain things that create bulk. Now, for example, you can have banana, you can have this. See, these are things that you have your own research. You will do many things. Some will work, some will not work. But I can tell you the one thing that definitely works. That is called isabgol or psyllium husk. See, whenever you start fasting, at least in the initial stages, in the initial days, my sincere request is, have 1 to 2 teaspoons of isabgol, which is a plant fiber, put it in your mouth, drink some 2 glasses of water. What does that do? That creates bulk in your stomach. So tomorrow you can easily pass through. If you're eating one meal, my sincere suggestion is add that psyllium husk for the first 10, 15, 20 days. I'm not saying you'll require it for the rest of your life. Even if you have it, it is not bad for health. Yeah. Because when you talk about fiber, we need what you call as insoluble fiber. Yeah. We are not talking about soluble fiber. We say fruits, eat fruits. Fruits are not the perfect fiber, to be very honest with you. The perfect fiber is leaves and seeds. Where do we get seeds and leaves? It's very difficult, right? We are all crossed that stage where we eat leaves, we eat seeds. It's not there in our system.
No, I eat a lot of seeds every day, so I don't interrupt. I eat like sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, a lot of leaves as well.
Yes, you can opt for it. That's a very good option. But the salt water should do the trick for you.
Absolutely. I'll start doing that.
But for people who can't afford these 5 seeds, 7 seeds and all that, just go with psyllium husk. That is probably the best fiber that you can get on the planet at the moment.
All my life I've taken isabgol, and particularly when I'm living in India, it's very difficult for me to like clear my
But
body.
do you see benefit from it?
I try to like put a lot of other ingredients with the isabgol to ensure that the bowel is cleaned up. So just isabgol alone doesn't really do the trick for me.
Can you just give me a call? I have a specific exercise for you. It's called pelvic floor exercise. That's called Kegel exercise. That increases your pelvic floor. You know about the topic?
I know pelvic floor, but I would like to learn the exercise.
Because it's pelvic floor. If your pelvic floor is not up to the mark, you can't pass properly. See, most people, there is only a very simple exercise for pelvic floor. It's called Mula Bandha. There is a method of doing it. You do it the right way, your pelvic floor develops. Not so much of fiber also is required.
Right. Okay. And then the couple of questions I want to ask you from today's session is that, sorry for taking so much of time. I'll keep it short. The first question is about the 3 days intestinal stem cells, which you talked about.
Yes.
So I find it very difficult to do like 3 days of fasting simply because I feel low in energy on the 3rd or the 4th day. So how do I overcome that?
It's done very sequentially and there is a method to doing it.
Right.
I have a thing. If you can just connect with Neil or with Smita or somebody and take my number and give me a call, it is done in a very different manner. It's approached a little differently.
Right.
See, in the name of some people who want to do it for religious purpose, the more difficult it is, the better it is.
Right.
If it is done for religious purpose.
Right.
If it is done for health, you can't take much of trouble. It has to be doable. It has to be easy, and there has to be a method to it.
Right.
There is a method to it.
Right.
It's not done that fast, that difficult.
And the last question I want to ask is probably helpful for everyone. Like, what kind of food should we really take? You mentioned about leaves, seeds. What are the other things that we should actually eat in the one diet we take every day? Thank you.
When you eat your one meal, initially, don't read any books. Eat what you feel like eating, because your senses will not, your instinct will not be wrong. Let me be honest with you, Chinmay. The mistake people do is they read a book on what you should eat. I'll tell you what the book says. The best form of food is 40 to 60% should be legumes. legumes. You can read what comes under legumes and read it. But if you try to do it, you won't get it. Because it should be your choice, not because someone told you to do it. It defeats the whole purpose of why you're doing it. In the beginning, eat what you feel like eating. And you would get it 85% right. If you actually eat what you feel like eating, first day you may eat gulab jamun, but you won't eat gulab jamun after 3rd day or 4th day, because the feedback comes immediately next day. You don't feel like eating the same things that you liked the first day. Your 2nd day is different. 3rd day is different. By the 5th day, there is no difference between rice and gulab jamun. There's no difference. If you won't understand what I'm saying, but if you do it, you will come to know what I'm saying. See, and once you come to that stage where there is no difference between rice and gulab jamun, that is the day you should ask a question: what should I eat which is good for health? Then if I tell you eat this, you can actually follow it, because it doesn't
what
matter.
You said is perfect. It's also part of Jainism that that's how sansar is, as per Jainism as well, about the desires.
I'll give you one example which happens every time when I get shouted by my wife. Okay, this happens every day, in fact, almost. See, I eat rice. I eat standard rice. That's it. I don't eat anything else because I don't have time for fancy stuff. I've been fasting all day. In the evening, I eat. I go running. I say, I want food. And my wife serves food, hot food. She puts, sometimes it's coconut oil, sometimes there is ghee, something they put on top of the rice. I don't know what it is, but something will be there. And the sambar, I'm a South Indian, so they make sambar. So they take the sambar. I said, pour it. They say, it's not hot. I said, doesn't matter, just pour. They say, no, we can't give you, because you have to see the real taste of the sambar that we made. So they take the sambar and they heat in the stove. By the time they heat the sambar, I've finished the rice. Just the rice with coconut oil or rice with ghee, just the plain rice, I would have ended up eating.
Right.
And my wife has so many times scolded me, saying, you're eating like one slum dweller. I think you can relate to it clearly. So that's what my wife says. I'm eating like a slum dweller. It's like, why is it? Have we not given you everything? And you can't even wait for sambar to come because I'm hungry. When you're hungry, I can't even make out the difference between the rice having the sambar and not having the sambar. Do you relate to it?
Sure, absolutely. Though I meant to ask from a different perspective, as in like in Jainism, we have a concept of vigai, which means we tend to avoid like dairy products, ghee,
Yes.
fried food, and sugar.
Yes.
So what is your take on it? And the idea in Jainism is that it is supposed to help us feel better mentally. And a lot of
Yes.
people are nowadays talking about raw food, like not to
Yes.
have any cooked food whatsoever. So what is your take on both the topics?
I wouldn't go so far as saying cooked food. I wouldn't want to comment on it because I eat cooked food. And I'm very clear that you better go for cooked food because the items are not up to the mark. It's better you cook and eat in today's environment. I'm just being very honest with you. My feedback is that. But I agree with that. There are two aspects to it. First is your amount of sugar is not needed for a human being. Salt is needed, not sugar. You don't need any amount of sugar. So if you ask me, is sugar needed? Not really. You need it for your entertainment. You like to feel nice. It gives a dopamine boost, so you can have sugar. That's it. That's the reason that you're having. You're not having sugar because it is sweet. You're having sugar because it gives you a dopamine boost. Let me be very clear. Jaggery is 5 times sweeter than sugar. Honey is 15 times sweeter than sugar. Nobody's addicted to jaggery and honey. They're addicted only to sugar. So it is not sweetness. It is something else. So whether you should have sugar or not is left to you. But is it required? It's not required. Deep fried food, nobody can recommend because it increases what you call as advanced glycation end products, AGE. It's called AGE, which we had done in Jain talks quite a lot. We had spoken about AGE in the previous talks. I can't go back much into it, but fundamentally, you know how bad a food is by how high the AGE is. Advanced glycation end products. If it is very high, it's going to damage your body high. All non-vegetarian foods are over 700. If you say chicken, mutton, somebody says it has protein. They're not understanding. The AGE of the food is some 3,000 and 4,000. Whereas any vegetarian food, which is not deep fried, the AGE of that product is less than 300 or less than even 200 for most of the vegetarian products. If you deep fry a vegetarian product, the AGE increase from 200 to 800. You're now able to see the difference, Chinmay, what I'm trying to say.
Right.
When you deep fry an item, it starts becoming as bad as a non-vegetarian item in the inflammation that it can cause in your body.
Right.
So can you have it once in a while? You can. Can you have it every day? You can get away with it, but there is real damage that happens in your body, which you have to manage. But frankly, if you're eating with hunger, you don't eat deep fried stuff.
Right.
This is as truthful as I can be.
Right.
If you're hungry, you don't eat deep fried stuff.
Right.
If you're
and
hungry,
what's your take on dairy products?
See, the dairy products, off late, the ethical practices are not being followed in the dairy industry. Chinmay, if you ask me, haven't our ancestors consumed milk? I agree with what you say. But the cow that we have is not the same cow that was there long back.
Right.
Even if you say Gir cow, I know we need to protect the cow, but there is a lot of question mark. Is this the original Gir cow or is it the Brazilian Gir cow?
Right.
You please go through the history of the Gir cows. I don't know if we have any Gir cows left on the planet. The original Gir cow. Because the original Gir cow, I don't think gives more than 1.5 liters a day. I'm not too sure on this, but the yield is very small for original Gir cow, not very profitable.
Right.
So the dairy product from that perspective is not good because one, the cow is not the real cow. It is something else. The dairy industry, it is very common to use oxytocin to get the cow to give more milk.
Milk.
You can't get more milk if you don't give oxytocin. If someone is running a business, he has to use all these things that I'm talking. Third thing is, you can't feed a cow grass. It's very expensive to feed grass. You are going to feed a cow grain. That is why you have a new milk, right? Grass-fed milk. This, and the cow should graze. All these things are not practical in today's context.
Right.
So if you ask me, is it good for health? Answer is no. Can you have it and get away with it? You probably may get away with it. To be more clear. Is that right?
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Chinmay bhai, you can ask questions tomorrow also. So today I'll give chance to other people. Yeah. Pradeep bhai, you can ask question.
Mr. Pradeep Shah has raised his hand long back.
Pradeep bhai, you have to unmute.
Unmute me, please.
Yeah. You can
Namaskar, I'm Mr. Pradeep Shah from Mumbai. Let me introduce myself. I am on totally fireless diet since last more than 3.5 years. Totally Vigay Tyag, 100% Vigay Tyag.
Yes, sir.
I'm out of dairy. No dairy products, 100% Vigay Tyag. Even I have done Ras Tyag, means I don't eat, consume spicy things a lot. To a great extent, I have quitted. So I feel on the path of the real Jainism. The only difference is that I use all the green Vigay, means I am doing a green ambil. I am under a green ambil, means most of my fruit is salads, leaves, and fruits. This is what I could do after this. And yes, regular intermittent fasting is a part of my lifestyle. And I can tell you the results are miraculous. And we have cured lot many people of so-called uncalled diseases. They have
Yes.
naturally cured.
Yes.
And I think this is what Bhagwan Mahavir has told us. But unfortunately, we have grossly misinterpreted it. And there is a lot of corrections to be required.
Yes.
And if you understand the Vigay Tyag, the Ras Tyag, and the concept of fireless kitchen, then it's a miraculous thing. And we have been practicing since years and we have got miraculous results.
Yes.
I have been listening to you, and I can tell you, as far as fasting is concerned, it's a fundamental thing for health, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. That's the pathway for this, and any problem can be cured by fasting. And we always say fasting is the ultimate medicine. I totally agree with you of the concept of fasting, and the fasting science is a super science, I think, which nature has given us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pradeep bhai. You can send me your contact number if possible. I'll connect to you later. And thank you so much for sharing your feedback. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chandrakant bhai, you can ask the question.
Good evening, Ramanji. It was really very enlightening and wonderful session. My question is that today modern medicine says that you should break your breakfast before 9 a.m. in the morning, and you suggest that it should be 11 a.m. So how to reconcile this?
Sir, there's a very beautiful statistic I can give you. It says that close to 95% of the population in US, they have breakfast. Nobody skips a breakfast in US because it's more a Western idea. Not skipping a breakfast is not an Indian idea. It's more of a Western idea. And they have had the money to popularize it as well. But if you look at the US population itself, more than 40% of the US population is obese. And the idea that they put across is that if you eat breakfast in the morning, you will feel less hungry during the day. But it is completely wrong. Even from the obesity point of view, the moment you start eating, you start what you call as the insulin-ghrelin cycle. The first time that you eat, you start becoming hungry every 4th hour. Sir, when someone eats one meal, why does he not eat in the morning? He can choose to eat first thing in the morning because the moment you get up, it's the most comforting thing. Eat off full. Eat as much as you can. Load it up. And then what do? You have to just sit. And then you go on. A person who eats one meal will never eat in the morning. It is not possible to do one meal a day by eating in the morning. He will typically eat something after 3. It will either be probably 4 or maybe more towards 5 o'clock. If you eat at 5, you can do one meal a day. If you eat at 7 or 8 or 9 in the morning, you will feel hungry at 12. You will feel hungry at 3. You will feel hungry at 5. That's the insulin-ghrelin cycle. You can't get away from it. And whereas the question is, science says eat something in the morning. Never science has said anything like that. In fact, most of the doctors commonly just kept saying like that. It was more of a common thing to say. That's about it. Frankly, I think now at least you have more awareness about it, where this is not what it is. Definitely not. It was never a science at all to eat in the morning. Because morning your sugar levels are very high. It's much better off that you don't eat.
Yes.
I know I have not answered it conclusively, but I can tell you no science exists for that.
Yeah, actually, he's not able to. Yeah. You are unmuted, Chandrakant.
Actually, this is what is supported by Jainism, that generally you should break, I mean, eat either once a day or twice a day. So that starts around 11 after 10 o'clock only.
Yes.
So that way it is one thing. One more thing I want to just know is that as per Jain practices, we give equal importance to eating, uh, you know, food without any vigai and spices, and preferably once a day. Then that is more effective than even fasting. So how you
Yes, it is connected more to the dopamine centers. So, what happens is when someone adds spice or including salt, but salt doesn't trigger as much as the spices or sugar for that matter. They increase what you call as the dopamine. Dopamine makes you feel happy. I can tell it's something like happiness or some kind of a thrill come happiness. That is what it is. For a normal person who's living a normal life, he's searching for happiness and thrill all his life. That's a normal person or so-called normal person that we talk. So if someone is searching that, that is what he goes for, which oil gives him, sugar gives him. Suddenly, we also realize that it is not good for health. So we tell him limit these things. So we help him limit these things from the perspective of physical health. From the concept of a mind that is undeterred by what's happening in the present or what has happened in the past or in the future, which is more a spiritual thing. It has something to do with not relying on dopamine to live your life. Because we are all very reliant on dopamine. We get a promotion, we feel happy. It drives us. We get something, we feel happy. We convince someone, we feel happy. We win a deal, we feel happy. But most spiritual cultures talk of something else that is not to do with these things that you get in life. There is something beyond this, which I don't want to comment on because I'm not a spiritual speaker. But from the scientific perspective, that dopamine virtually controls every organism or every animal on the planet. Let me explain this. You look at an animal that runs behind another animal to mate. You look at a man who seeks another woman. It's not a logical decision. You may say, no, my father asked me, my father got me married. So we can speak all these things. Fundamentally, the activity is pleasurable because of the dopamine response. It drives these behavior, which you can't control. If you are linked to dopamine, and it will drive you in a certain way in your life. So are you anything better than an animal? The answer is no. Actually, no. If you're talking about a normal human being, is he better in any way compared to a animal? Does he show buddhi, as yoga says, or I'm sure Jain scriptures must have spoken on it? No. You're just living the life of an animal. You run in a certain sequence. You can have physical health, but you are a healthy animal. You want a thinking which is beyond an animal. The only one thing which holds you as an animal, to be very frank with you, is dopamine. You are at the mercy of this neurotransmitter that guides your life, which is why spiritual cultures tend to put this in. See, I'm not a spiritual speaker. I'm not saying it just to justify. I'm telling you the truth. This dopamine, you have to detox. There's something called dopamine detox, which they are giving to normal people also. Even Hollywood celebrities also are going through it. What is a dopamine detox? Don't watch TV, don't watch mobile phone, because it's a dopamine response. Don't eat spicy food. If possible, don't eat. If possible, don't eat. If you eat without any of these spices. Don't even cook the food. If you do this for 2 or 3 days, you're going through what you call as a complete dopamine detox. What happens after 3 days? After 3 days, when you come back to life, where you needed 3 teaspoons of sugar in your coffee, you only need 1, because your dopamine receptors are very sensitive now. Because what is happening, sir, is our dopamine receptors have become very resistant. That means you need a lot of dopamine to get that benefit. When you do a 3-day or you live the lifestyle that you are taking, small things will give you happiness. I'm sure you must be realizing it. It is something I am talking from theory, but for you, it is something in practice. Small things make you happy, where big things are required for people to make them happy. They must be smiling at you and saying, no, you are not enjoying life. The enjoyment that they are getting in biryani, you must be getting it in a vegetable. Please correct me, sir, if I'm wrong.
Thank you very much.
Is that accurate, sir?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. It was superb.
Yeah. So Ramanji will take one last question, and then probably remaining questions we can cover tomorrow. So Mahendra Bhai wants to ask, Mahendra Bhai, you can unmute yourself. Your turn. Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Just I want to say one thing is about Adderall.
Yes, yes,
Adderall is normally used for
Yes.
attention deficit disorders,
correct.
and which is cannot be available without a prescription. And second thing, it increases your concentration. So if you take this Adderall every day in a tablet form, that
Yes.
will make you habituated, and
Yes.
that will create a lots of problem.
Correct. That's right. You're perfectly right.
Because you did say that number of people are taking Adderall, but that is
Yes.
against the good health. Because
Yes,
without
yes.
that, then you cannot concentrate.
Yes. See, that's the point. This is what is happening in US, that in the top universities, including Harvard, Yale, everywhere, it's very common to use Adderall, and it is wrong. It is not good. You can get off with black coffee. Black coffee doesn't cause that much harm, but the benefit is not the same as Adderall. Adderall will be something else, but it is harmful, extremely harmful. And no one knows to what extent it can harm the things because you are artificially stimulating a lot of things. So
Yeah, it's artificially stimulating brain cells, and
Yes.
that causes the damage.
yes, it does.
And one more thing,
Yes.
you were talking about the sunlight in the morning. I entirely agree with you. Now I will say I'm a 76 years old, and I'm looking at the rising. I'm living in UK. Now, since last so many years, I'm looking at the rising sun without blinking the eyes, and that is definitely improves the eyesight, and also it reduces the chances of developing cataract. I haven't developed the cataract yet. So I entirely agree with you. And one more thing, sorry for this.
No, please go ahead,
You
sir.
did say that what we require is a salt. You did say that you have to take salt in the morning, salt water. But normally the body requirement for the salt is less than 5 grams of salt in 24 hours. And if you take salt water in the morning and in the cooking and everything, it is definitely more than 5 grams of salt. So it's on a long run, it may cause high blood pressure.
Yes. So first thing is, what happens is anyone who's fasting, fundamentally your body loses a lot of sodium. The way it works for a person who fasts 16 hours is little different from a person who eats over 12 hours. It's very different. A person who eats 12 hours eats a lot of spicy food, lot of food. A person who eats one meal doesn't even eat spice because it's very difficult to eat spice. That's the first thing that he will require is salt. Second thing is, sir, if you look at the water that we are consuming, we are all consuming RO water. Once upon a time, the water was natural. You had to pay a lot of money to get RO. Today, to get natural water, you have to pay more money. There is no natural water available. See, all our Jain Munis, all of them have done fasting with plain water. They've never used salt water. Why am I saying salt? Because today the water that you are getting, they are removing all the TDS from it and then only giving it to you. Isn't it true?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Isn't it true?
But at the same time,
Yes.
it increases the intake of the salt in a normal, more than the normal requirement. So on the long run, it may damage your cardiovascular system.
Okay, two things here, sir. The American Medical Association has pulled back the article that it gave, recommendation it gave, that salt is linked to blood pressure. That has been pulled out 3 years back. It is similar to the recommendation of cholesterol causing heart disease. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Triglycerides may cause heart disease, but cholesterol does not cause heart disease.
Yeah.
That is also removed. Salt does not increase blood pressure.
No, I'm not saying it increases the blood pressure. It affects the cardiovascular system.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the blood pressure. Blood pressure is not the only thing. Cardiovascular system is entirely the whole system, which affects the cardiovascular system. That is what
No, I get what you're saying. See, frankly speaking, the one thing that we are worried about the cardiovascular system is the deposit of plaque on the arteries of the heart. That's what we are worried about. What are the plaque made up of? Most of them are made up of cholesterol. So what did they say? Cholesterol causes heart disease. They've removed that out. The cholesterol is actually the healing that happens on the arteries. What actually causes the issue in the heart? There's only one thing that causes issues with the heart, which is triglyceride. Anything that increases your triglyceride, you better not have it. Sugar can increase triglycerides. Oil can increase triglycerides. Non-vegetarian foods can increase triglyceride. Beyond that, it's your own body's making that can cause all kinds of issues with triglyceride, not being able to manage. Salt does not increase triglyceride. That is why there is one book I recommend for you, sir. It's called The Salt Fix. If you can please read it. Many of the people, especially older people older than 60 years, many of them have dizziness. They go off to hospital, get admitted. There's an IV that they give and they come back. Do you know what is IV? What is saline solution?
Yeah, it's a simple thing. It's a sodium chloride.
Yes. What is that?
It's a salt.
That's right.
But that is normally sodium
salt.
chloride, the salt water. Saline is given in gastroenteritis. Or if at all you are dehydrated, then you are given the saline. Otherwise, salines are not given.
Sir, but fundamentally, there is no evidence to show salt increases triglyceride, which is why.
I agree with you. It does not increase. What I mean is that it, on the long run, it affects the cardiovascular system. So there should be a restriction of the salt intake. That's what I mean.
Sir, read this book called The Salt Fix. And somebody has correctly pointed out, it's called Dr. James D. Yeah, perfect. That's Lakshmi. Thank you so much for putting it. But sir, what happens is in our Indian culture, we have never limited salt. It's only that they came in, they said, don't use coconut oil, don't use ghee, don't use this salt, use that salt, don't do this. Finally, today they're selling us back Himalayan salt. Trust me, sir, at your age, at least, I highly recommend you to read the book called The Salt. But you are right, because I'd like to probably have you as right, because you're far senior to me.
Because I myself is a medical practitioner, retired medical practitioner.
Yes. So I would highly recommend you to read The Salt Fixer, because that salt is required for people who are older. Definitely required. But where the catch is, let me tell you, sir, is when you add salt to food, it increases the taste and people eat that food more. This is true. There is no doubt about it. If you take an oily food, put salt in it, people will eat more. That oil will increase your triglyceride. Is it true? Yes, it's true.
Yeah, it is true.
Salt per se, sir, my sincere suggestion is take a little bit of salt, keep it in your tongue. You probably won't even feel like eating anything, because much of what we are feeling is the affinity for salt, which we look for in food. But having said that, I can be honest that everybody who fasts, sir, body leaves out a lot of sodium. That is where they go through so much of discomfort. You'll agree to that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mahendra bhai. We have a couple of questions. We have Lakshmi ji want to ask question and Kashmira ji Shah also, but Raman sir, we can take it tomorrow. Sure. Already it's 5:15, so yes, tomorrow we'll take their questions.
I think people are very well read. Already I see in our chat, right? People have looked at sources and all that.
Yes. Very interesting session.
No, but it was very rightly pointed by Mr. Chandrakant. I think very valuable information came out.
Yes. Yeah. So we will end the session today and we will meet again tomorrow at 4.
I'm sorry, it's Mr. Mahendra who pointed it out. I'm sorry.
Mahendra. So we will end the session with a prayer. जगत के सभी जीवों का कल्याण हो, जगत के सभी जीवों का मंगल हो, जगत के सभी जीव हमारे मित्र है, कोई भी हमारा वैरी नहीं, इस भावना के साथ प्रार्थना। अणु परमाणु शिव बनी जाओ, अखा विश्व नु मंगल खाओ, सर्वे जीवो मोक्षे जाओ। खामे में सब जीवे सर्वे जीवा खमंतु में, मित्ति में सब भूयेसु वैरम मज्जन केणई, सर्वथा सौ सुखी थाओ, पाप ना कोई आचरो, राग द्वेषति मुक्त बनीने, समता सौ समाचरो। सभी को प्रणाम, जय जिनेंद्र। कल फिर मिलेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच रमन सर, थैंक यू।